Human reproduction is the amazing process of how babies are created. If humans didn't reproduce, our species would no longer exist. Making a baby requires an egg cell and a sperm cell to join together and develop in the uterus. Reproduction involves the male and female reproductive organs. This is called sexual intercourse, and is when the male's penis is inserted into the female's vagina. When a male ejaculates, approximately 300 million sperm are released, and a great race begins through the female reproductive system. The life of a sperm isn't easy. There are lots of obstacles on their journey to the egg. There are many ways to die, such as being melted by acid, tangled in mucus, attacked by the immune system, swept away by the current, or taking a wrong turn. It's not only a test of endurance, but also of speed. Having to swim 18 centimetres, the fastest sperm can reach the safety of the fallopian tube in 45 minutes, whereas others take as long as 12 hours. Sperm can live in the fallopian tube for up to a week, waiting patiently for an egg to emerge. Once per month, a tiny egg is released by the ovary. This is called ovulation. The soft finger-like ends of the fallopian tube, called fimbriae, sweep over the ovary and pick the egg up, placing it inside the tube. An egg only has 12 to 24 hours to meet the sperm, or it dissolves in the fallopian tube. The surviving sperm then burrow into the outer layer of the egg using their head. Only one sperm can successfully break inside the egg, causing the egg to lock and let off an electrical impulse, blocking any other sperm. The egg then absorbs the winning sperm and their DNA combines. This is called fertilization. The sperm carry an X female or Y male sex chromosome, whereas all eggs carry an X female sex chromosome. The baby's sex will be determined by which sperm fertilizes the egg, XY forming a male and XX forming a female. When an ovary releases 2 eggs, each egg is fertilized by an individual sperm. These twins will not have the same DNA and develop into non-identical twins. Sometimes one fertilized egg can split in half, forming identical twins with the same DNA. The cells inside the fertilized egg divide as the egg travels down the fallopian tube, gently pushed along by tiny hairs called cilia. The fertilized egg arrives in the uterus about a week later and attaches itself to the lush lining of the uterus. The egg is then called an embryo, and it starts developing into a tiny human. One of the first things that happens is the embryo's tiny heart starts to beat, followed closely by the development of the brain and spinal cord. The embryo does not yet have an umbilical cord attaching it to the mother, and instead is being nourished by its outer layer. During the first 12 weeks, or 3 months of pregnancy, the embryo will finish growing all its organs, muscles, limbs, bones, and private parts. It will also form eyes, ears, hair, and skin. The placenta and umbilical cord start to pass nutrients to the developing baby at the end of week 12. After this time, the risk of miscarriage decreases and the baby's chances of survival increase. Over the next 3 months, the baby will begin to hear, do somersaults, suck their thumb, play with the umbilical cord, and will even form fingerprints. At 24 weeks, a baby can survive outside of the mother's body. In the last 3 months, the baby finishes growing, opens their eyes, and sheds the fluffy hair they formed all over their body. They start to run out of room in the mother's uterus and position their head down close to the cervix in preparation for birth. When the baby is ready to leave the uterus, hormones are released, triggering the start of the birth process called labour. The amniotic sac surrounding the baby can burst at any time during labour, releasing fluid through the vagina. This is known as the waters breaking. The cervix begins to open, the uterus muscle contracts, and the baby pushes off the top of the uterus with their feet, pressing their head into the cervix. When the cervix has widened to 10 centimetres, the baby's head can fit through into the birth canal. The baby's head has soft cartilage that allows the bones to overlap, making it smaller as it rotates and moves through the vagina and out into the world. Some babies are born with their feet and bottom coming out first, which is called breech birth. Another way that babies can be born is through an operation called a caesarean or C-section. The mother is given a needle in her spine called an epidural. which numbs her body from the waist down. A curtain is placed across her chest to block her view as she remains awake during the short operation. The surgeon then makes a small cut vertically across the lower part of the mother's abdomen and into the uterus to carefully remove the baby or babies. For most mothers, it takes approximately 4 to 6 weeks to make a full recovery.